Here to unpack all of this is Senator Ron Johnson, who, of course, has been at the helm of the Senate's investigations into Biden Family, Inc. Senator, is this the beginning of a media pig pile on Biden? What's their motivation here?
I doubt it. If it is, it's a minimal one. To quote that Political article, the president hasn't been shown to have committed wrongdoing. But Political review of recent developments casts doubt on several statements. I mean, he lied through his teeth. He lied to the American public to become president of the United States. You don't consider that wrongdoing? So I would consider this as a modified limited hangout, kind of the Watergate scandal type, where the press is just barely dragging itself to some admission that, well, you know, he's not the perfect guy, the man of integrity we tried to convey to the American public.
Do you agree that's really the only leverage they have with President Biden? Were they really serious that they had to move on from him for 2024, that his family is what he really cares about, especially his son?
He's going to do his best for Joe Biden. I think we've seen that. I mean, the millions he's amassed in public office. I mean, we're really not investigating that as well. My guess is I think the evidence will be so overwhelming. And again, his performance as president is so awful that I think they'll cast him aside. But let's face it.
Oh, you do? So you think they are going to cast him aside?
I think he has almost 0% chance of being their nominee. But I want to point out, it's not just President Biden's governance. This is Democrat governance that's destroying this country.
Now, Special Counsel David Weiss is sitting down for a voluntary transcribed interview with the House Judiciary Committee tomorrow, Senator. His spokesperson told Fox that Weiss is prepared to take this unprecedented step of testifying before the conclusion of his investigation to make clear that he's had and continues to have full authority over his investigation and to bring charges in any jurisdiction. Senator, what should those Republicans be asking him?
Well, full authority to interfere in the election. You know, what's not getting enough play is Senator Grassley's whistleblower. He wrote a letter to FBI Director Wray and Attorney General Garland, where he talks about his whistleblower saying the FBI had 40 confidential human sources. You know, they also established this foreign influence task force. Its primary task was to find out where there was derogatory information on Joe Biden or Hunter Biden, and then Mike's staff calls it catch and kill. You know, go and basically say that evidence is Russian disinformation. It's that same task force that had an unsolicited briefing to Senator Grassley and I, where we said they told us we were targets of Russian disinformation. This is August of 2020. So again, this is pretty well documented. And let's face it, the FBI started its pre-sabotaging the Hunter Biden laptop the day they picked it up.
But they actually think it's okay, do they not, for the president's family to make money off of the Biden name when Biden was in office? I mean, most Democrats apparently think that's just totally fine.
My guess that's true, because all they care about is power. But I'm not sure the FBI believes that. But there are higher-ups in the FBI that are such partisan actors that they did everything they could to interfere in our investigation and in Weiss's investigation as well.
Now, Hunter is blaming disinformation for his family's troubles and the questions into his business dealings, saying my struggles and my mistakes have been fodder for a vile and sustained disinformation campaign against President Biden and an all-out annihilation of his reputation. Your response? If
you've ever seen the Marco Polo report, which is just, you know, pictures and emails off of his laptop, there's hard evidence of wrongdoing. And one thing that drives me nuts is the fact that he solicited and used women that were part of an international sex trafficking ring. I guess that's all forgetting. I guess that's not wrongdoing either. I guess it's not wrongdoing to collect millions of dollars from China and then cancel the China Initiative, which is the Department of Justice program to investigate Chinese theft of our intellectual property in universities. One of the first acts of President Biden when he came into office. Is that a sign of compromise? I would think it is.
Are you worried that our China policy is being written, in fact, by China, given what's going on?
Absolutely. Remember, the whole outrage over possible Trump collusion with Russia was if we had a president that had connections to a foreign power, that could compromise that president. Well, that was a complete false narrative. It's a complete hoax perpetrated by the Hillary Clinton campaign. The FBI knew that.
Now we're doing a reset of our China relationship after money's flown to the Biden family. It's all a coincidence, Senator. I think you're being very mean. Senator, great to see you tonight, as always. Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.